Hello, everybody. This is Mickey Lynn Larson-Olson, aka Q Patriot, January 6th, inmate 376303. And normally, when I do my one meal of the day, it's probably in the middle of the night, and most of the time because I've been cooking it. But today, I just decided my meal of the day is going to be breakfast because I made these Hawaiian sweet rolls, and although they didn't come out all fluffy like I wanted, I made them with freshly milled. I milled some hard white wheat. They turned out delicious. They just aren't like what you normally see at the store. But also, for me, when you look at the package of what's in all the bread products, I don't care what the bread product is, whatever the bread product, when you look at the ingredients, and anyway, it's alarming. So, yeah, so I always loved in the Hawaiian sweet rolls, and first time I ate them was when I was just a young girl and growing up in Carson City, Nevada. And back then they had like these, they were like a circle, like a bowl, like a bowl. And we usually had it like that. Later on, they had the rolls, and it was always pretty much a family staple in my house, the Hawaiian sweet rolls. But like I said, I don't buy any more bread products. If I want bread products, I have to make it myself. So to figure it out. And it also, for me, I like to experiment. And so sometimes my experiments go a little off course. That has happened twice as I tried to make my Hawaiian sweet rolls the last two times. The first time they turned out absolutely amazing. They were all fluffy and everything. But I wanted them to have a bit of a more of a coconut flavor. So the next time I tried to do it and change things up a bit. This time, same thing. I had made this delicious, it was supposed to be jelly. But they said, same thing with my bread. Okay, so the pectin, I guess, does not do what it's supposed to do molecularly if the environment is too hot. Well, I haven't had heat or air in my house for many, many, many years. And so it's hot. And I'm used to it. I have fans. I do fine. It's just me and my dog, Foxy Roxy. We do fine. But regardless, my house is still really hot. So I was trying to make my first batch where I put, all Hawaiian yeast rolls, they have to have pineapple juice. So I have pineapple juice, some coconut extract, and my peach syrup. So it was supposed to be jelly, but apparently there is a trick that I could use to try to thicken it up, and I guess that's cornstarch. I can put a little cornstarch in here. There's also other things, but people kept saying, Mickey, get this, it'll fix it, get that. Well, I don't have money to get any of that. I don't. I have everything I need to get me to my Mickey is a Rich Bitch Day, which is usually the beginning of the month, my military retirement pay. And it doesn't, I usually, before I even get paid, I already have the things in mind that I need to get for, myself. And it's, things are just tight. I mean, I lived with David for 32 years. I am on my own now. So, just trying to figure everything out. So, I get the things I need. Everything else is bonus. So, I don't often have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to changing up my menu or anything like that. So this month I spent a lot of my military retirement on prep stuff, like getting my stuff ready not only for myself, but for my neighbors who might not be thinking along those lines. I got a water purifier. I think I got that one. I got items from 4 Patriots, and one was my Patriot Supply. So I got these things from those 2 suppliers, okay? I'm happy with everything I purchased. I got an Ember cooking heating unit. So I have a heating unit, which obviously I don't need right now, but it also came so I could cook stuff on it, and that was important. I bought a percolator coffee maker. I must admit, I got to figure out how not to have coffee, what is it? Like the grinds in there, right? I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong there. Anyway, but I've been using that instead of my Mr. Coffee, which I've had for many, many years. Different ones. I've replaced them over the years as they broke, but I've pretty much been a staple in my house. But I don't want my coffee and my water going through all the plastics. So the percolator I got, make sure I could have coffee. Because I tell you what, when I was in jail for January 6th, I thought I was going to end up with no coffee the whole time. I thought, oh my goodness, this is really a nightmare. The first 3 days, no coffee. And I'm like everybody will tell you, I kind of morning, noon, and night I drink coffee. And so anyway, day 4, I'm in jail. And I'm in medical isolation for refusing to take the COVID test for a lot of reasons. And one of those, the biggest reason, was Dr. Kerry Mullis created the PCR test. And he said he didn't diagnose a damn thing. And he called Fauci out as a fraud. Don't take this down, YouTube. It's a fact. You can find the video yourself. It's a factual statement. And the man deserves to be honored for telling the truth. And so, and part of it had to do with, this man is gone now. And every time they would ask me why I wouldn't just take the test, I would always bring him up. And I'd go on and on about all the reasons why I was refusing to take the test, and they would always walk off and tell me they didn't need to listen to my delusions and all of these things. And so anyway, so when I get into, I go into my sentencing. And what you need to know about us J6ers is we were all prosecuted together. Does that make sense to you? We were all prosecuted together, even if we had different trials, right? We were prosecuted as one entity, as if we all did the same exact thing, okay? Because of the day. The enormity of the day. That's what my judge said. The enormity of the day. And I was part of the worst day in our nation's history. And I took part in that. Huh. Yeah. Where were you my 21 years in the United States Air Force, Judge? Where were you when I almost got blown up twice in Iraq, Judge? Where were you when I learned the truth about Operation Northwoods and our government's part in 9/11? Where were you? Oh yeah, you said, you don't need to listen to my crazy conspiracy theories, right, Judge? Obama, Barry Soetoro appointed judge. I think his name was Michael O'Keefe. That's how you know somebody doesn't matter to me. I don't remember. Now I suck with names. Still a lot of people that matter to me, a whole bunch. I can't remember their names, but with situations like that, it's because I choose not to. And he was a Barry Soetoro appointed judge, aka Barack Obama. Okay, and I went in there and I was already convicted. You need to know that. And when they do, and they question the jury, right? And they question the jury. Several of them said they had strong feelings about January 6th. And all he asked them was, can you look at the evidence and be fair and impartial? Of course, they said, yeah, sure. Anyway, here's the thing. He asked me if I found guilty. Okay? You need to understand, I had a defenseless attorney. His name was Daniel Dorsey. I'm not going to forget his name because the world is going to know his name. Yeah, he was my defenseless attorney. So the first, so I had just got him. He became my defenseless attorney January 20th, 2021. Is that right? Yes, 2021. And one of our first conversations, he said to me, I was trying to tell him about the election, that I had evidence that the election was stolen. You know, I wasn't just making this up. You know, I had a lot of facts. I had done a lot of research for a few years before January 6th. Before I refused to walk down the scaffolding on January 6th outside of the Capitol, I was in my patriotic costume. And I had been told that another female Air Force combat war veteran named Ashley Babbitt had been shot and killed by the Capitol Police. And at that moment, I just made up my mind that was the hill I was willing to die on. That Capitol Hill was genuinely the hill I was willing to die on. Because when that Capitol Police tapped me on the shoulder and told me it was time to go, I told him he would have to shoot me dead because I wasn't walking. And I meant it. So they pried me off the scaffolding. My charge was a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor Washington, D.C. charge of unlawful entry public for refusing to give up my right to peacefully protest. So I was carried down the stairs by 6 police officers. Now the articles say I was escorted off the property by the police. That's not true. I mean, I have evidence. Like, this was done in the daytime. And there's video of me there at the dark time. Because they never even told me to leave. They never told me to leave. They didn't. They carried me down the stairs because I refused to walk down. Maybe I should technically know it was, but they never said that. No, not one single police officer escorted me off the property. Not one police officer told me I was violating the law. Not one police officer said, if you do not walk down those stairs right now, you are going to go to jail for 180 days. None of them. There was no signs. I walked up regular stairs. I didn't scale the scaffolding like some people claim. I scaled the scaffolding. It was nothing like that. I walked up regular stairs in my costume. And I'm also the author of a poem titled We're Ready to Fight. I wrote after 9/11. My squadron commander had me read it to the unit when we returned back to work. And my base commander had me read it at a base remembrance ceremony in Baghdad, Iraq, September 11, 2007. Its title, We're Ready to Fight. Yeah, I was ready to fight then. Still ready to fight. I'm not going to be so nice next time. The judge asked me if there was anything I had to say after I was found guilty by these people that were far from my peers. They were far from my peers. None of them ever heard they didn't know who I was. Your peers means like people around you that can vouch for your character. Those are your peers. Not strangers from a different city that don't know the first thing about you, only what the news told them about you. They're not my peers. So anyway, they found me guilty. My sentencing, the judge asked me if there was anything I had to say. I said, if jail is what I get for fighting for we the people of the United States for America Republic, then take me to jail. So he slammed the gavel and he said, she obviously has no remorse and she would do it again. 180-day max sentence, unlawful entry, public. First-time offender, never been in trouble with the law. My defenseless attorney, Daniel Dorsey, told me he was on the opposite side of the coin as me. This is when he first became my defenseless attorney and refused to even entertain any of the evidence I provided him to prove that the election indeed had been stolen. He ignored all of it. He said, it's like right when he becomes my defenseless attorney, He's on the opposite side of the coin as me. And he doesn't believe the election was stolen. And he's not going to fight about it. Well, I didn't have money for a lawyer. And for me, I served almost 7 months in Iraq with people trying to kill me. I did a total of 6 tours in the Middle East. Not all of them were in Baghdad. I only did 1 tour in Iraq, but I did a total of 6 tours in the Middle East. And I was just like, max they could give me is 6 months. I could do that. No problem. No problem. And yeah, so he told me 180-day max sentence. She obviously has no remorse and she would do it again. I think his name was Michael O'Keefe, but I'm not sure about that. But I think his name was Judge Michael O'Keefe. I think is his name. It'll be in my book, so I have to make sure I dig it up by then as I'm doing that. So not as committed. I need to be doing it more. I need to be focused on it, but right now I'm just trying to figure out how to do things on my own. And some of it I really like, and some of it's more challenging, like when the trees limbs fell into our yard during a tour, when I was in D.C., and just stuff like that. But I do love to cook. My kitchen, though, is a total disaster, so that's what I've been working on today. But yeah, one more thing about my case before I get back to my breakfast. So mind you, this defenseless attorney became my defenseless attorney January 20th, 2021. Right? We talked, occasionally. I had to do a lot of Zoom calls, like for trial stuff and all that kind of stuff. And he was a nice enough guy. A nice enough guy. I owe him for having my, that he gave my stuff to my friend, including, the keys to be able to get into my Airbnb. So I owe him that because I would have lost my Q Patriot costume and a whole bunch more if he wouldn't have given my keys to my friend Judy and her husband, Chris, and that took care of my Q-mobile and so much more while I was in jail. And I talked to Judy almost every single day. Judith Austin and her husband Chris Austin out there in Delaware. I'll be eternally grateful for them for all they did for me personally. And anyway, so yeah, he did that. But so the day before I take the stand, right? So I think that was the 28th September 2022. I believe that's the day I took the stand. And I took this stand. The day before, he told me I needed to tell everyone that I just went there January 6th to cause a little bit of mischief. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to say that. I didn't go there to cause any mischief. And he said, well, that's the defense I have planned for you. And I said, well, I'm not going to say that. It's just not true. And I asked him, I said, well, did you watch 2,000 Mules by Dinesh D'Souza like I asked you to? And he said, no. He said, because Dinesh D'Souza's fraud. And he said that was fake news. So this is my attorney, right? And I'm saying, you need to look at this because it's my defense, right? It's my defense. Refused. And, yeah. Was there something else? Yeah. I asked him, I said, when was him or the prosecutor going to talk about the fact President Trump recommended 10,000 National Guard troops? And this is my defenseless attorney. He says, you don't have any proof of that. Are you kidding me? The proof, they had the proof at the freaking J6 committee. I mean, it was all over the place. You don't have any proof of that. This is the day before I take the stand, okay? Not one witness on my behalf. He did not ask one time, is there anybody that can stand up for you? Anybody that was there with you? I had people willing to drive down and take the stand on my behalf, regarding my actions that day, which is basically me in my costume, taking pictures, talking to people, handing out my We're Ready to Fight poem. I refused to walk down the stairs. I refused to give up my right to peacefully protest. And, Abraham Lincoln said, we had a responsibility to our republic to, when tyranny comes and tries to take it, we have a responsibility to stand up against the tyranny. But more than that, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And it is my true and honest belief that we have domestic enemies in our republic masquerading as our representatives. And that's where my head was at then. That's where my head's at now. And the military, I'm ready for them to go and arrest them all and make them face military tribunals. I'm ready for the truth about the 2020 election and January 6th to be known to the entire world, what the facts of that. I'm ready for real justice for the real traitors of that day and many years before that to be prosecuted by the military. And it requires, if they commit treason, they just need to hang. And this is not violence. I'm not recommending violence. I'm not doing these things. I'm merely information and education purposes in regards to our Constitution. Not what Mickey says. Don't take this down, YouTube. Mickey ain't going to do any of these things. No. But as a veteran to our republic, I stand behind the military to do exactly what the Constitution demands happen to traitors in our republic. That will remain true for the rest of my life. As long as I have breath in my body, I will continue to uphold my oath of enlistment to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. No matter where they're at. No matter what they masquerade as. Yeah, we have politicians inside of our capital that are domestic enemies to our republic, masquerading as our representatives. And that is a fact. And if you think I, a veteran of my nation, with a son that's in the United States Navy, is going to have any issue with all of them being in handcuffs publicly and tried by our military and the proper justice being conducted, you got another thing coming. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. They threw me in jail. I was in jail for 161 days. When I was taken back, they attempted to give me the COVID test. I told the nurse, you dare touch me with that thing, I'll press charges against you for assault and battery. And she said, you're right, I can't force you to take this, but you'll be in medical isolation your entire 180 days. And I said, well, I guess that's what God wants from me then, because I'm not taking that test. Not doing it. So, yeah, I was put in medical isolation. First couple days, I was allowed to go out just to get my medication and back to my cell. But for 49 of my 161 days, I was not allowed out of my cell for a single second. So one time was 24 days, and then what happened is the person in charge of medical for the jail comes to my cell. Again, another person asking me, why won't I just take the test? Why? So I'm telling him. And he says, I didn't have to come here, I didn't have to come down here. I don't have to listen to you. Well, why will you people keep asking me the questions when you don't want to listen to me? So he asked me if I'd be willing to take an x-ray to prove that I didn't have COVID. So I said, fine. I was ready to move on. One of my good friends, Christian, Christ IAN, had moved to the reentry program, and another person I thought God really wanted me to help. Her name was Amber. She was a heroin addict. She had went there, but she was gone. They removed her. She was acting inappropriately, and they removed her before I got down there. But I wanted to be there with Christian. That only lasted about a week, and I was like, no, I'm ready to go. Christian was leaving. She was going to the halfway house because they were making me wear a mask 5 hours a day, doing this education crap that had nothing to do with me. They had nothing to do with me. I wasn't there for drugs. I wasn't there for stealing. I wasn't there for any nefarious reason. I was there because I was a patriot, and they didn't like it. Okay? So... yeah, so I told them, I said, I'm ready to go to halfway house because I had a choice because mine was a misdemeanor charge and I'd never been in trouble. So my security number or whatever number, it's like a number they give you to decide how much of a threat you are or whatever. And so mine was like 0, maybe even negative, I don't know. And so I told them Christian was leaving, so I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I don't want to wear a mask 5 hours a day, I don't want them. They're making us do these instruction videos, like 20 assignments a week to teach me how to be a stupid, ignorant liberal. That's what it was. That's the way I took it. They're trying to teach me. I knew too much. I was like, I'm not playing this nonsense. I'm just not doing it. And so, yeah, I went to the halfway house. And I was there only about a week. I was there for Thanksgiving. So I picked a really good time to be there because my Thanksgiving dinner was amazing because they cater in all the food there. I love that about the halfway house. The caterers were amazing. But I didn't like that they would come into your room all hours of the day and night. And when I first got there, me and Christian shared a room. And this male knocks very gently like a little bitch on the door. I could barely tell there was somebody at the door. I'm a pretty light sleeper. And he says, are you all decent? It's the middle of the fucking night, okay? Are you all decent? And then before he even waits for an answer, he opens the door. I told him, I said, look, don't you dare. First of all, you have no idea what anybody in this room has been through, and you just opened the door in the middle of the night? You have no idea. Anyway, I will say that man was very receptive to what I said, and that never happened again. Never. I told him, I said, in the military, if a man was on the floor with the women, but whenever they entered onto that floor, they had to say man on deck, or, I don't remember exactly what this, man on the floor or whatever, but whenever they had to announce it that a man was on the floor. And because, you don't know, anyway. So, but for now, after that, every time he'd come on the floor, he very loudly, and he never knocked on my door like a little bitch again after that. I said, you gonna knock on my door, you better knock on my door like a man, not some little bitch. Yeah, he never. But we actually had a great relationship, me and that man. He kind of respected that I was very straightforward. He was never, we had a great rapport with each other. I think he respected that I said what was on my mind. And so anyway, so what happens is one day I'm told that I have to take the COVID test because somebody was exposed to COVID. Okay, so just so you know, in the halfway house, people kind of come and go. They kind of coming and going, right? And some people have visitors, and people go to the mall, and many of them work and stuff. That's how halfway works. So they said somebody was exposed to COVID. Now, mind you, this is November, and so I already know, what happened to the flu during COVID? That's my question. The flu just disappeared the year COVID happened. And then hardly any cases of the flu, right? 32 million cases of flu one year, hardly any the next year during COVID. So anyway, and this is flu season, right? And it's exposed. So they hadn't even tested positive for it, okay? there was not even anybody in the halfway house that had been tested positive. The person that said they were exposed had not even tested positive for COVID, yet we're being told we have to take the test because she was exposed. I told them no. And they said, and the assistant director, he said, well, you had to take it in jail. And I said, no, I didn't. I refused. He goes, no, you didn't. I said, yes, I did. I refused to take the COVID test when I was in jail. They told me I was going to be in my cell. I told them before I went to the halfway house, I said, if I have to take the COVID test to go over there, just leave me where I'm at, because I'm not. Just take me back to where I was before. Put me with the really bad people like the murderers and stuff. I'm cool with that. Most of my friends were there. My good friend Jessica Watkins was over there. She kept trying to get me to go over there, but I guess I could, because I was, mine was a misdemeanor. They wouldn't let me go over there. But I had a lot of friends over there. And anyway, but yeah, so, but they sent me, because so the director of the jail, he came back, x-ray was, I didn't have COVID. So why didn't they test me without, at the 14-day mark when the official quarantine? So if I walked into jail and I tested positive for COVID, right, 14 days later I'd be out of my cell. Okay? So the second time when I went, so what happens, I refused to take the test. So the assistant director, he asked me if I volunteered to leave. I told him no. I said, you make me leave. I'm not volunteering to leave. So I was shackled. I was wearing a hoodie I had that said believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. I was wearing that hoodie at the time. And so I got taken back, shackled. That's a very, if you've never been shackled before, it's something you really can't explain to anybody. It's more than just being handcuffed. It's more than that. So anyway, so I even had to be shackled to go to the dentist. And anyway, so they put me back in my cell. Now the second time, because they already had all my medicine information, I didn't leave my cell for a single second. So of my 161 days, 49 of those days, I never left my cell for a single second. No shower, no telephone calls. I was not even able to order anything, even though I had thousands of dollars on the books. I couldn't even order what I needed to clean my teeth. I couldn't get dental floss the entire 161 days I was in jail. I could not get any dental floss. And I ended up losing my bottom teeth shortly after I got out of jail, because I went in with periodontitis. I had 2 gum surgeries in the military. And I had just been checked by my dentist, so my teeth, I was not in any risk of losing my teeth before I went. I went to Aspen Dental, and they did a thorough cleaning before I went to jail, so I wasn't in any danger. But shortly after, they said there was nothing. The damage was visible, like I could see a visible damage. And I pulled out my teeth before. I'm not pulling because they're glued in there, and I still got to eat, so I'm not pulling them now. But yeah, so that's something I gave my country. Yeah, my bottom teeth. They go pay for that one. But yeah, I couldn't get denture tablets because my top teeth I lost in a horrible car accident. I fell asleep at the wheel, and my 2 front teeth were so loose. The people at Aspen Dental said if you bite into an apple, your teeth would fall out. But like I said, I had 2 gum surgery for periodontitis, and so she said your only option is to lose your teeth. So I go into the jail, and they know this. They prescribed me Fixodent, right? They know this. But yet, I couldn't get denture tablets to clean my own teeth. You could get toothpaste. You could get them to give you toothpaste. But I couldn't even buy my denture tablets. So I talk about this because it's one of the things I'd like to be able to change within the prison system. Nobody should be not able to clean their own teeth. They should be able to get dental floss at all times. And people said, well, they have it, but I could never buy it. It was never available for me to buy. So when I didn't realize they had to, I was shackled to the dentist. And she goes, well, they have it on the men's side. And I was like, it's never been available. Anyway, so, yeah. I know, it's another long one, huh? But you get a little snippet of my book. You get a little snippet of my book. Because I'm exposing all those bastards that did this, all of them. Because ask me, so the first time I had 24 days, the director of the jail and the medical person has me take an x-ray to prove I don't have COVID, right? But the second time, I was in medical isolation 30 days. Not allowed out of my cell, no phone calls, no, not able to order anything. The entire time I was in jail, I was only allowed to go outside 4 times for like an hour apiece. 4 times the entire time. So when you see it on the movie and think, oh, they get to go outside every day. No, not us. Not us. We didn't get to go outside 4 times the entire time. So, but yeah, we're ready for the truth to be exposed. But yeah, I share this from time to time. I know some of you probably heard this far too many times. You don't care to hear it anymore. I get it. But I'm going to keep sharing it because us J6ers deserve to be here. Anyway, I went ahead and I thought I had some Philadelphia cream cheese I was going to put on my rolls today. I sprinkled some cinnamon on it. I made these yesterday. And they didn't turn out like your typical Hawaiian, but they didn't rise up as much, but they taste really good. They are made with hard white wheat that I milled. So, and yeah, and even though this didn't gel up the way, like regular jelly, it's so delicious. I made it with fresh peaches I got from it's called the fruit truck that came through Abilene from Colorado. And so I made it. I had take a bunch of peaches, fresh peaches. They were amazing, and I made like 3.5 jars. And it didn't thicken up like regular jelly, but the syrup's amazing. I put it on some ice cream, and I put it on these, and some I just spooned out because it's so amazing. But you could tell it's not. It's more like a syrup than a jelly, but still really good. And I did read that corn syrup, so I may try that, but maybe not because I really like it just as a syrup. So I may do the same thing. It still tastes absolutely delicious. So yeah, I've already had these, but I didn't have cream cheese. I thought I did, but so I use Tillamook butter. I use real butter. I don't use fake crap. It's so good. But I decided I'm going to make my one meal of the day a breakfast because I couldn't wait all day to eat these. I can't wait all night. I want 8 days right away. Oh my goodness. So, yummalicious, yum yum. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so I made that. Now, next time, I'm going to try to do some tricks that my friends gave me. But yeah, it was all saying that my house is just too hot. So, anyway. So, so good. I still think it would be even better with some cream cheese. But, I didn't have any. But yeah, I made that. Syrup's great on ice cream. It would be amazing on pancakes, waffles. Yeah, and you could still use it, like, on your biscuits. I could use that. You still use it. I just made me a couple fried eggs. I love eggs. Now, of course, my butterflies. I'm all about the butterflies. So, eggs are eggs. This is my salt. This is my salt I use. I also use Celtic salt. depends on what I'm cooking, but my day-to-day salt, I got rid of Morton's because they have removed the minerals from our salt. So I always am using mineral salt, which sea salt or Celtic salt. There's a whole Baja Gold is one that a lot of people recommend, Baja Gold, but this one is working on everything for me. This has been a true one-for-one swap with the Morton's regular salt. This has become my table salt, sea salt. I use it for all my baking. I might use my Celtic salt or coarser salt. I'll use when I make my naughty treat. My naughty treat, which is dates. I just take out the pit and I put so I get my dates from the Arizona Date Company. Not sponsored by anyone, not sponsored by these people or anyone. So when I'm showing you these things, it's just because I'm truly a customer, not because I'm financially benefiting in any way. I just want to help everybody on their health journey. And your body needs the minerals that Celtic and sea salt provide you. And these are amazing. And yeah, just really, really great. So anyway, I just decided I'm just going to have me a couple eggs today. I might later on have me some cheese and crackers. When I say I only eat one meal a day, I will snack. But yeah, my dates, I just get those from the Arizona Date Company. And then I get my pecans. They're like a cinnamon sugar pecan I get from the Buffalo Pecan Farm. And I take out the pit from my date. And I put the pecan in there. I melt some chocolate. Dip my date and my pecan in the chocolate. And I use the Celtic salt to sprinkle. It's a coarser salt that just works better with this than this. So I use my Celtic salt for my dates. So, and people love those things. God, the only thing you have to cook on that is to melt the chocolate. It don't burn the chocolate. Burnt chocolate is freaking nasty. I'm telling you what. Trust me, because I've done it. So, anyway, yet another long video. Not holding anybody hostage here. But my very good friend Danielle Ray Clark told me I needed to do videos and bring people along for my health journey, my one meal a day. I had lost 28 pounds, and I'm still working for a while. So it's 25 pounds now since October 5th. I am 25 pounds less today than I was October 5th. And mostly it's my eat one meal a day. I eat whatever I want, just so you know. It's not like I just go, oh, I'm not going to eat this or that. I don't do that. I just eat one meal a day. And I try to eat pretty good. I try to eat pretty good and watch what the ingredients of my food. And so anyway, but Danielle Ray Clark sadly used this also to bring awareness to an alarming statistic in our veteran community, which is the fact that 17 to 18 veterans kill themselves every day. And sadly, my very good friend, my Dallas Hotsmanian Patriot sister, Danielle Ray Clark, took her own life April 17 of this year, 2026. And I try to use this to bring awareness about that sad epidemic in our nation of our veterans taking their own lives. And so I'm trying to bring awareness about that, and also doing what Danielle Ray Clark asked me to do, and that's bringing people along for my health journey, kind of hopefully maybe give people some tips that maybe might help them on their health journey. But also because I don't get to see my granddaughter that was born December 24th, 2024, and I haven't seen her since Super Bowl 2025 because my daughter is a nurse. And I won't shut up about the dangers of the vaccines. And her husband said they don't have to listen to my crazy conspiracy theories. So they live about 15 minutes from me. And I just choose not to be disrespected by anyone, especially my children. Because there is no one I've sacrificed more for than my children. Now that's a fact. There is no one I've sacrificed more for than my children. And anyway, so this might be the only way my grandbaby Ellie Jo ever gets to know her Mamie Mickey. So, again, this is Mickey Lynn Larson-Olson, a.k.a. Q Patriot, January 6th, inmate 376303, where we go one, we go all. The best is yet to come. Let me go ahead and show you my badass jacket that my good friend Sonny created. Yes, look at it. America. She said I got the very first one they do, and it's just so beautiful, and I absolutely love it. They gave me the first one. It's so beautiful, and anyway, it says 250 on it. So Sonny said I could give people her phone number. So it's a usatrumpstore.com by Sonny, 214-384-7328. If you love this jacket, I think I got like 6 Sonny original jackets, all sequins that I wear. One I love, and I wore to DC when we did the Rededicate Our Republic Back to God. And that was, it says Team Jesus on it, so I wore that one there. I wore this one when I went out to DC for the 4th of July. So, y'all, have a great night. God bless. It's Yummalicious Yum Yum time. Bye.